Shall we have elections on April, Mr. Hrovit?
Well, the Pristina Agreement must be fulfilled in full. That's what the European parliamentarians this week have been assessing, and the European Commissioner will be here later during this week. And what I would emphasise is that although whether the date will be the 24th of April or won't be is of course uppermost in the minds of many reading the media and is being part of the public statements of the parties, it's only one element of the agreement, and the point of the early elections is to provide a credible and genuine democratic choice in this country, which perhaps has not been what we've seen in the past, and therefore the date is only one element of the agreement. And the MEPs, including myself, have been here this week to say that all aspects of the agreement are important.
Are there enough time and conditions these elections to be prepared till April?
I say I am concerned that the changes to the State Election Commission and the new electoral code took some months later than the timetable that was agreed in the Pristina Agreement, and that I was part of helping to broker and to negotiate. And so that does provide a question mark on whether there's sufficient capacity in order for the elections to be run in a credible, fair and democratic way. And some of the discussions even today that are taking place are on the state of development of the organisation of the elections, the Election Commission. You know, a big issue, and nobody will be surprised to hear me say this, is whether the voters list is clean, where certainly one party alleges that it's not in a very fundamental way, another party suggests that there's only a more technical exercise that's needed, and at the moment there isn't an agreement on the methodology of doing that between the parties, and that's a big impediment.
Do you expect that we will have a technical government on Friday?
Well, the agreement says that the Prime Minister should resign 100 days before the election, and for me what's important is not whether the election's the 24th of April, the 25th of April or the 25th of another month. You know, I know that's going to be of big interest to the people watching. And therefore, does Mr. Gruevski resign this Friday, on Saturday or on Monday? But the real issue here for me is, does this country get a democracy? Does the electorate of the country get a real choice? Is there a real sea change here in the way that the democracy operates? And is there an opportunity for a real choice, a real new vision for the country, a real hope that the European destiny of the country can be a major step towards it with a different type of election?
How do you comment Mr. Gruevski's visit to the United States?
Two things really. One is I understand if I'm Mr. Gruevski, a party leader coming up to an election, then being seen in the United States with its Vice President does no harm to my reputation and my image in my own country, and I'm a politician. We all pursue such things, and I can see why he would want to do that. But what the electorate in this country should understand is that Europe is working very closely with the Americans, and that we have a very, very common view about the fundamental changes which are needed in this country in order for there to be a rooting out of wrongdoing and for there to be a movement towards democracy, and we hope towards a Euro-Atlantic perspective for the country that people in this country say that they want, the politicians say that they want, but then they many times have taken actions which are contrary to it. And I know from my discussions with the US State Department that the messages that Mr. Gruevski got in Washington were some very tough messages, and they're the same messages that I and my European colleagues are delivering here to him and to all parties in Skopje. The international community is united. There has been serious wrongdoing in this country. Fundamental democratic principles have been challenged. The Euro-Atlantic agenda has not been honoured and respected and genuinely pursued in this country, and there needs to be full implementation of that Pristina Agreement as a step towards genuine change in the way that this country is run and in the vision for the people that the people of this country deserve.
How serious is and difficult is the situation? Can a provisional agreement fail?
Yes, it can fail, and the country has been failing already and will fail if it does. What I think there is agreement between FMRO and SDSM about is that that's the only alternative available, and then the argument is about whether it's being respected or not. And I have to say, I wouldn't be here this week. There wouldn't have been what was said in Washington. There won't be what will be said here by the European Commissioner later this week if we in the international community didn't also agree that the only option for this country and its politicians is the Brezhnev Agreement. And we wouldn't be here if it was being fully implemented and respected. It isn't as we speak, and we're here to say it must be.
You mentioned a special prosecutor and you're meeting her today. What do you expect a special prosecutor to do soon?
I expect her to be given the space and opportunity to get on with her job. And one of the things that worries me when I look at the media environment in this country is that people who are here to do a job that they've been appointed to, a job that's important for moving this country in the right direction, are so often vilified and criticised for doing that job. And whether it's the work of the special prosecutor, whether it's the work of the European offender mediator, Mr. Van Houten, these people are public servants doing a job. They should be respected. Whether they make every right decision or wrong decision, whether I make every right statement or wrong statement, none of us are perfect. But there should be mutual respect. Democracy is about respect for people with whom you disagree.